pray? Our Father in heaven, we thank you, Lord, for the day. We thank you for the studies that we've had so far. And as we have come to the end of the day, and we are physically exhausted and mentally, we ask, Lord, that you will renew us just for the next few minutes, that we may once again contemplate your way of righteousness before we retire to sleep. May you send your Holy Spirit to be with us and be our teacher. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Good evening, brethren. Welcome to our last lecture of the day. I know that it's camp and we're having like 5-6 lectures a day. That's quite intensive study. But I pray that the Lord will really grant us His grace so that we can be benefited by the few days that we will be here. Ideally, this should not be the case, like having 6 lectures a day. But it has become necessary for us to come to have these kinds of meetings. So I want to do a bit of recap. We started off by looking at religious liberty. We asked the question, what makes a nation great? And we've established is the spirit of Protestantism. Because the spirit of Protestantism is an active power. Because this power penetrates the heart and renews the individual. It vivifies society, it founds kingdoms. Founds kingdoms. It frees the conscience to wake up to intellect. To wake up the intellect, sorry. And we've seen that in order to really develop the higher powers to the highest possible level, an environment of religious liberty needs to be created. This is the power behind the United States. Is what makes it great. It's because the creative powers are heightened. And that we've seen that this is a gift of God. We went on to define a couple of terms. The first one we defined was religion. And we saw that religion is the duty we owe to our Creator and the manner of discharging that duty. We defined the word liberty as exemption from the domination of others as we execute that duty.
ukuthi umuntu asuswe ekubeni ukuthi kube nomuntu omcindezelayo ukuthi akhona ukwenza lo msebenzi.
Freedom from restricting circumstances.
Inkululeko ekhululayo ezimeni ezivimbayo.
The power to make one's own choices and to decide one's own conduct.
Amandla ukuthi wena uzenzele izinqumo zakho nokuthi wena uphile ngale ndlela ufuna ukuphila ngakhona.
I would like us to turn to Deuteronomy 4 verse 6.
Ngathanda ubana sifunde incwadi kaDeuteronomy
Chapter 4 verse 6.
Isahluko sesine indimana yesithupha.
This is concerning the duty that we owe our Creator.
Lokhu kumayelana nomsebenzi esiwukweleda uNkulunkulu wethu.
Let's begin in verse 5.
Asiqaleni ukufunda indimana yesihlanu.
Behold, I have taught you statutes and judgments, even as the Lord my God commanded me, that you should do so in the land whither you go to possess it. Keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nations, which shall hear all these statutes and say, surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people.
Bekani, nginifundisile izimiso nezahlulelo njengokuyala kukaJehova uNkulunkulu wami ukuthi niyakwenza kanjalo phakathi kwezwe eningena kulo ukulidla. Ngalokho manizigcine nizenze ngokuba lokhu kungukuhlakanipha kwenu nokuqonda kwenu emehlweni ezweni eziyakuzizwa zonke lezimiso zithi impela lesisizwe esikhulu singabantu abahlakaniphileyo nabaqondileyo.
So we see that in connection with greatness
siyabona lokuthi kuhambiselana nobukhulu
is statutes and judgments.
Izimiso kanye nezahlulelo.
The two are inseparable.
Lezi ezimbili azihlukaniseki.
We cannot talk about religious liberty without considering the law of God.
Asikwazi ukukhuluma ngokukhululeka kwezenkolo ngaphandle kokuthi sibhekisise nomthetho kaNkulunkulu
and the duty that we owe to our Creator.
Kanye nomsebenzi esiwukweletdayo kumdali wethu.
We're going to read from Christ Object Lesson, page 329, paragraph 2.
Sizofunda kule ncwadi lena ebhalwayo.
Christ Object Lesson.
Incwadi isifundiso sikaKristu. Kuzobanzanyana ukuthi ngithole nesicaphulo lesi.
Paragraph 2. The development, I'm beginning somewhere in the middle of the paragraph. I think it's the third sentence, third and fourth sentence. The development of all our powers is the first duty we owe to God and to our fellow men.
Ukhulisa amandla wethu kungumsebenzi esiwukolodayo kuNkulunkulu wethu kanye nomuntu esiphila naye.
No one who is not growing daily in capability and usefulness is fulfilling the purpose of life.
Akekho noyedwa lona ongakhuli kuloko akhona ukwenza nokuthi futhi abe muhle ogqwalisa inhloso yakhe yempilo.
In making a profession of faith in Christ, we pledge ourselves to become all that is possible for us to be as workers for the Master.
Uma ngabe seletha okuthile ngezenkolo kuKristu sizifaka thina ukuthi sibe yibo konke lokhu okuhle kanti futhi okungenzeka kithina ukuthi sibe ngabasebenzi benkosi yethu.
And we should cultivate every faculty to the highest degree of perfection, that we may do the greatest amount of good of which we are capable.
kanti futhi kumele sisebenze konke esinikezwe kona kufika ezingeni eliphezulu kakhulu ukuze sipheleliswe ukuze sikhona ukwenza umsebenzi omuhle omkhulu lo esikhona ukwenza.
So concerning the duty that we have to the Creator,
mayelana nomsebenzi lo emele siwenze kumdali wethu,
our first duty that we owe to God and to our fellow men
umsebenzi wethu wokuqala esiwukweledayo kuNkulunkulu kanye nomuntu esiphilisana naye,
more than going to church, meeting with fellow believers, singing and praying and paying tithes,
ukudlula ukuthi kuye enkonzweni uhlangane nabantu okhonza nabo, ukhiphe izishumi zakho, uqule sithandaze,
and looking the part and being nice,
bese uboneke vele njengomuntu ohamba lelo hambo futhi ube muhle.
even way above that
Kudlulela kuloko
is the development of all our powers.
ukudlulela lokho ukuthi sikhulise amandla wethu angaphezulu.
Before you look at the next person,
Ngaphambi ubana ubheke umuntu oseqeleni kwakho,
you need to look at yourself.
kumele uzibheke wena.
Have you fulfilled that obligation you owe to your Creator to develop to the highest possible degree?
Ngabe wena uwenzile lo msebenzi lona okweledayo kumdali wakho ukuthi ukhulise amandla wakho angaphezulu ezingeni leli eliphezulu kakhulu.
We spoke about the purpose for which we were created yesterday,
Sikhulume ngenhloso yokuthi sidaliwe.
and we established that the purpose for which man was created was to represent, reflect, and manifest God.
Sisimamisile ukuthi inhloso yokuthi umuntu adalwe ukuthi abonise kanti futhi aveze umqondo kaNomcabango kaNkulunkulu.
The creation of man is the highest means of reflecting God.
Ukudala komuntu indlela ephezulu kakhulu ukuthi uNkulunkulu azibonakalise.
That man was designed for onward, continuous development.
Umuntu udalelwe ukuthi aqhubeke kanti futhi akhulise njalo njalo.
All faculties have been designed to have the capability of continuous development.
Konke kuyena kwenziwe ukuthi kukhona ukuthi kube nalokuthi kwenze ukuthi kukhule kufike izingeni eliphezulu kakhulu.
So in this code in Christ object lesson,
Kulesiqaphelo lesisiqeda ukusifunda manje,
we are told if you and I are not growing daily in capabilities and usefulness,
siyatshela ukuthi mangabe mina nawe asikhuli insuku zonke ekukhoneni nokuthi senze kahle,
we are not fulfilling the purpose of life.
asiqwalisi inhloso yokuphila.
We are not good for nothing.
Asimuhle ngalutho,
Or is it the other way? Good for nothing.
omuhle ngalutho.
So this is what plunged us into the health aspect of our camp.
Lokhu yiko ekusifake esifundweni sethu sezempilo,
Because we've seen that you and I were created to represent God.
ngoba sibonile ukuthi mina nawe sidalelwe ukubana sibonise okanye simele uNkulunkulu.
But in order for that to actually happen within the realm of the physical world,
Kepha ukuze lokho kukhona ukwenzeka kulo mhlaba esiphila kiwo,
that God was going to have to create houses for us in which to live.
uNkulunkulu bekazodala izindlu lapho khona sokhona ukuphila khona.
And that is the human frame.
Lokho kumzimba womuntu.
So we want to consider the human frame because part of our religious duty
Sifuna ke sibheke umzimba womuntu ukuba ingcenye yomsebenzi wethu wezenkolo
is to take care of the human frame.
ukuthi sinakekele imizimba yethu.
And we saw that God actually began the work of framing man, or the house in which man was going to live.
Sibonile ukuthi uNkulunkulu uqale wenza lendlu lapho khona umuntu ezophila khona.
He did this in a very well planned, executed project.
Wenze lokhu ngendlela enhle kakhulu kanti futhi ehlelelwe phansi yaboniswa ngendlela efanele.
He began by constructing the framework.
Uqale ngokwenza lesimiso.
The framework is the skeletal system,
Yamathambo ke lawo.
designed to be hard, light, elastic.
Enzele ukuthi aqine kanti futhi angasindi kanti futhi ekhone ukuthi enyakaze.
Because the skeletal system supports all the other organs.
Ngokuba amathambo yibona lapho khona konke khona kuncikekiwe.
When this work of construction began,
ngenkathi lo msebenzi wokwakha lona uqala,
which bone do you think was the first bone that God built?
iliphi ithambo ocabanga ukuthi uNkulunkulu waqala ngalo?
Where did he begin? Did he begin with the skull, maybe?
Ngabe uqale ngenhloko,
Perhaps the rib cage,
mhlambe ngezimbambo,
or maybe the femur?
mhlambe lapha emlenzeni?
Where did he start? Where
Ngabe
did he begin?
uqale
The spine, there is one. It's not a spinal cord,
ayibizwa nge-spinal cord,
it's the spine, because the spinal cord is an entirely different thing.
ibizwa nge-spine ngoba i-spinal cord yinto nje ehlukile.
But it's a good start, it's a good answer.
Kepha uqala okuhle lokho,
I'll take it. I'll take it.
uzoyithatha leyo mpendulo.
So the spinal cord, the spinal vertebra, all right, it's just a block of square-like bones sitting on top of each other.
Le thambo lelanga semuva ke libukeka kanjena.
In the neck,
Lapha ke entameni
they are called cervical
abizwa
vertebra,
abizwa ngama-cervical vertebra.
and there are 7 of them.
Kanti futhi lama cervical vertebra ayi-7.
7 blocks. They are followed by the thoracic vertebra.
Bese kulandela lezi ezibizwa ngama-thoracic vertebra.
So, do you remember high school biology?
Ngabe niyakhumbula izimfundo zempilo esikoleni ephakeme
When we covered the structure of the insect.
lapho khona kufundwa ngentuthwane.
You remember head, thorax, abdomen.
Niyakhumbula ke lento sezibhaliwe.
So thorax is the middle part.
I-thorax ke yile etholakala ngaphakathi.
So that section that's supposed the rib cage is the thoracic spine. That starts from there, about there to about there.
I-thoracic spine ke yiyo lecala lana ifike la ezansi, yiyo le support yiyo le esimamisa izimbambo zakho.
And from about there to
Sukela
about there is the lumbar spine.
sukela lapho ke kulapho i-spine lesi sibizile kutholakala lena ke
Lumbar vertebra with five blocks.
kulandela ke i-lumbar vertebra yona ke inezigaba ezinhlanu.
And then the tail section will be the sacrum and the coccyx.
Bese lapha ngasekugcineni sithola i-sacral vertebra kanye ne-coccyx vertebra. Coccyx.
These bones are fused together. There is no movement.
Lamathambo lawo ke ahlanganiswe ndawonye akukho kwenzekayo.
Okay, let me draw this again.
Ngizokudweba futhi lokhu.
The spinal column is the foundation of the human frame.
Ispine isimamiso somzimba samathambo omuntu.
Why did God not make one solid block of this spine?
Kungani uNkulunkulu abevelanga nje wenza ithambo nje elilodwa liqinile nje?
Why does he make it in blocks?
Kungani enza lamathambo ngezigaba?
I see hands waving. I don't know what they
izandla nje zenza kanje.
Yes, ma'am. For flexibility, for movement.
Ukuthi kukhona ukuthi kube nokunyakaza.
That's why when you see old people that are not flexible so much, it's because the spine is becoming fused. The bones are starting to become together. Yeah.
Ingakho mawubona abantu abadala abanganyakazi kakhulu ilapho khona lezi gaba zamathambo sezisuke ukuthi seziyahlangana ziyabumbana ziba ngithambo elilodwa.
Because God is so wonderful, what He does is make this spinal column in blocks and put a soft pillow between the blocks.
Ngokuba uNkulunkulu emuhle kakhulu wenza lethambo leli ngezigaba bese phakathi kwalamathambo nje ufaka umcamelo nje.
It's a pillow.
Umcamelo.
We all know what pillows are for. What's the purpose of a pillow?
Siyazi ukuthi sonke yini inhloso kanye umsebenzi womcamelo.
It is so that this bone can move on top of this one without eroding each other.
Ukuthi lethambo leli khona ukuthi lihambe phezulu kwaleli ngaphandle ukuthi alimazane.
So of course, you need to bend forward, bend backwards, sideways.
ngakho-ke kumele ukhona ukuthi ugobe uye ngaphambili emuva kanye futhi naseceleni.
Because as Adam is going about dressing the garden, he needs to be able to move around and bend, pick up things, lift up stuff, so the spinal column needs to be flexible.
Njengoba u-Adam ezoyenza umsebenzi engadini uzobe agoba ethatha izinto eziphakamisa esebenza njengadini. Kumele ithambo lakhe langasemuva limvumele ukuthi ekhone ukwenza yonke lokunyakaza lokho.
What makes this pillow?
Yini lokwenza lomcamelo lolo kutholakala phakathi kwamathambo?
What do you think it's made of?
Ngabe niqaba ukuthi lo mcamelo wenziwe ngani?
Cartilage is made up of what?
I-cartilage yona yenziwe ngani?
I heard it somewhere.
Ngizwile ndawana thizana.
Cartilage is made up of what?
Ngabe i-cartilage yenziwe ngani?
Okay. You know the major groups of foods.
Niyazi-ke ukudla okubalulekile kwamaqembu.
So which one do you think is used for making cartilage?
Yes. Protein.
Protein, thank you.
Protein, sabo.
Now I'm going to tell you that bone is also made of protein.
Ngizomazisa ukuthi ithambo lenziwe ngama-protein.
This is cartilage.
Lo mcamelo i-cartilage
It's also made up of protein.
nayo futhi i-cartilage yenziwe ngama-protein.
This one is hard, this one is soft.
Lena iqinile, lena ithambile.
What makes bone hard? What makes cartilage soft and flexible?
Yini okwenza ithambo ukuthi liqine bese futhi okwenza i-cartilage ukuthi yona ithambe?
What's the difference?
Yini umehluko?
The calcium, where?
Calcium itholakala kuphi?
Calcium in the bone.
I-calcium etholakala emathanjeni.
Calcium and phosphorus added to protein makes it hard.
I-calcium ne-phosphorus-ke yiyo eyenza ukuthi le thambo liqine.
We don't have calcium in the cartilage.
Ku-cartilage asiyitholile i-phosphorus.
Or the disc. It's called the disc, intervertebral disc. This disc over here.
Okanye le disk le itholakala ngaphakathi.
What makes it soft and pliable
Okwenza ukuthi lithambe
is the quantity of water in it.
inani lamanzi elikhona kini.
And people who don't like to drink water
Abantu abangathandi ukuphuza amanzi
end up with a dry disc.
begcine-ke banendawo yabo ngaphakathi yomile.
When the disc becomes dry, it can even burst open.
Le ndawo-ke le engaphakathi okanye le disk etholakala lapho uma ngabe selomile ngakhona ukuthi futhi livuleke.
And it will cause back pain,
Bese-ke umuntu uqala uba nenhlungu zangapha emuva
it causes stiffness,
nokuqina,
it will cause inflexibility.
ukuthi ungakhoni ukunyakaza.
And what happens when you have such a back
Uma ngabe umgogodla wakho unesimo leso
and you're needing to perform a duty to glorify God and serve man,
kumele wenze umsebenzi ukuthi unikeze uNkulunkulu inkazimulo kanti futhi usebenzele umuntu.
because it says the development of all our powers is the first duty we owe to God and to our fellow men.
Ngokuba ithi ukhulisa amandla wethu kuwumsebenzi wethu wokuqala esiwukweledayo kuNkulunkulu kanye nomuntu esiphila naye.
I'm just giving that as an example.
Nginikeza lokho njengomzekelo
That the cartilage needs to have the right quantity of water.
ukuthi i-cartilage kufuneka ukuthi ithole inani lamanzi elifanele.
When we don't drink enough water,
Uma ngabe asiphuzi amanzi anele,
because I know many of us drink water, but is it the right quantity of water you're drinking?
ngiyazi ukuthi abaningi bethu siyawaphuza amanzi kepha ngabe siphuza inani lamanzi elanele na.
An adult needs around 3 to 4 liters per day.
Abadala-ke bona kumele baphuze amanzi amalitha amane ngosuku olulodwa.
So when you're not drinking enough water,
Uma ngabe uphuza amanzi anele,
the body has to prioritize.
umzimba-ke kumele-ke usebenze ngendlela ethile ubeke lokubalulekile kuqala.
In the respect of water,
Ngenxa ekuhlonipheni amanzi,
there will be some vital organs that will be prioritized over other organs.
kunengxenye yezitho zakho zomzimba ezosetshenziswa kwezinye
such as the brain.
njengengqondo.
So as we've been sitting here for 6 hours listening to lectures,
Njengoba bekade sihleli lana amahora ayisithupha simamele izifundo,
our brains on the freeway.
imiqabango yethu ingqondo zethu njengezikuthela wayena.
It means that the brain is going to be prioritized in terms of water over the disc.
Okuchaza ukuthi ingqondo kube kusetshenziswa yona kunokuthi kusetshenziswe lena ndawo le.
So water is diverted to the brain at the expense of the disc.
Ngakho ke amanzi ashintshwa indlela amikiswa engqondweni kunokuthi eze lapha kule ndawo le.
Because in that moment the body has to prioritize.
Ngokuba kulesikhathi leso umzimba kumele ube ubalekile kuqala.
Because the owner has not been faithful and careful to consider the disc.
Ngokuba umnikazi beyangathembekile ukuthi anakekele le ndawo lena.
And we may end up with chronic spinal issues.
Ungagcina futhi ube nokugula okungeke mhlambe kulapheke kwasemuva.
Back problems can really be debilitating.
Izinhlungu okanye izinkinga zasemuva zenza ukuthi nje umuntu ehle.
And often we don't really take it seriously.
Esikhathini esiningi lokho sikuthathele ekhanda.
Because anyway, it's just the back.
Ngokuba nje ukubona.
If you thought your heart had a problem or your lungs had a problem, you'd be more afraid than if you were told you had a back problem, isn't it?
Uma ngabe ungatshela ukuthi inhliziyo yakho kanye amaphapho wakho anenkinga, ungathuka kakhulu kunokuthi mawuzotshela ukuthi umgogodla wakho unenkinga.
Sister White tells us repeatedly that every organ affects every other organ.
Udadewethu uyasitshela ngokuphindaphindekile ukuthi esinye isitho somzimba silimaza esinye isitho somzimba.
There are some things that can cause the disc to degenerate.
Kunezinye izinto ezingenza le disc etholakala lapha ukuthi lehle
other than just insufficient water.
ngaphandle nje ukuthi wathola amanzi anele.
And as we're talking about the disc,
njengoba sikhuluma ngale ndawo leya,
I'm going to use it as a template for all cartilage in your body.
Ngizoyisebenzisa njengale ebhekiwe yonke kuzo zonke izitho zakho zomzimba.
So whatever we discuss concerning the disc applies to all of our joints.
Konke esikhuluma ngako mayelana nendawo lena kungena kuwo konke lapho khona kuhlangana amathambo khona.
I know it's usually when a person is above 40 years old that they begin to worry about their joints.
Ngiyazi ukuthi kujwayelekile ukuthi umuntu masekahambile iminyaka engama-40 beqala ke bayakhathazeka ngalapho khona kuhlangana amathambo wabo khona.
Because that's when you begin to have problems.
Ngoba yilapho khona uqala ukuthi ube nenkinga khona.
But actually the abuse of the spine begins early in life.
Kepha ukuhlukunyezwa komgogodlo wakho kuqala nje maduzane empilweni yakho.
And the reason why younger people don't have symptoms of back problem or pain in any joint
Isizathu sokuthi abantu abasha bangabonakalisi izimpawu zokuthi banenkinga emgogodlweni.
it's not because they are okay,
Akusukuthi ngokuthi balungile.
but because the body is fearfully and wonderfully made to design and heal itself.
Ukuthi umzimba wenziwe ngendlela esabekayo kanti futhi nangendlela enhle kakhulu ukuthi wona ukhona ukuziphilisa.
So don't look at me bored because I'm discussing back problems and that only a few old people are supposed to listen to me. The young people are looking at me bored
Or abantu abasha nje bangibone ngathi akusidaba.
because they are thinking this is not for me.
Ngoba xa mhlambe lokho akusimayelana nabo.
I don't have a back problem.
Anginawo mina ngicabanga ukuthi abanankinga zasemuva.
When older people have back problems, it's because in their youth they neglected their duty.
Abantu abadala uma benenkinga zemgogodlo yabo ukuthi ngesikhathi sabo sobusha azange benze umsebenzi yabo.
And when you have a back problem or any joint problem,
Uma ngabe unenkinga ngemuva okanye unenkinga nje ngalahlangana khona amathambo akho,
it's not serious, but you're not going to be useful to anyone.
Akusinto ebaluleke kakhulu okanye eqhayi kakhulu, kepha awusoze ukuthi ukhona ube muhle kunoma ngabe ubani umuntu.
Not because the condition is dangerous, but because it's uncomfortable, it's debilitating, pain, and stiffness is boring, really.
Akusukuthi lesimo leso siyingozi ukuthi nje lesimo sikwenza ukuthi njengomuntu uwehle kanti futhi sikwenza ukuthi ungakhona nokuthi unyakaze ukusebenza.
So the young people, you are the ones I'm talking to right now.
Bantu abasha yini ukukhuluma nani ke manje?
You need to begin to take care of the foundation of the body, the human frame.
Kumele niqale ukunakekela isimamiso samathambo omzimba womuntu.
So what else damages the cartilage?
Ngabe yikuphi okunye okumosha icartilage?
Picking up heavy things.
I'm sorry?
Picking up heavy things.
Picking up heavy things, okay?
Ukuphakamisa izinto ezisindayo.
I want to take this point to another level. Yes?
Ufuna ukuthatha
Your diet.
le kwelinye izinga.
Okay, yeah?
Your diet.
Absolutely, diet.
Indlela odla ngayo.
Do you want to be specific, yeah?
Because if your body is acidic, your body basically needs to buffer that acidicness. So for the body to do that, it has to pull the calcium from your body to be able to do that. So we can go more in detail, but I'll leave it to you.
That's okay, that's a good point.
Umfethu ukuthi bangabe umzimba wakho une-acid eningi, kuzodingeka ukuthi umzimba wakho ukhiphe leyo acid. And ukuze ukhiphe leyo acid leyo uzothatha i-calcium yonke ekhona emzimbeni ukuze kuphume le acid emzimbeni yakho.
The body is supposed to be alkaline.
Umzimba kumele ungabi ne-acid eningi.
That's a pH of about this. Brother Hollis, you can help me here.
7.4.
Yeah.
Isilinganiso se-pH lapho sihamba ku-7.4.
The pH that's lower than that is acidic.
Engaphansi kwale number sesibizile ibonisa ukuthi kune-acid eningi emzimbeni
And
wakho.
acid is one of the biggest things that causes premature degeneration of the tissues, including bone and cartilage.
Leyo nto ke le yiyo le eyenza ukuthi amathishu wakho wangaphakathi ehle kanti futhi enze nokuthi ube nenkinga ezinye.
What are some of the things that make the body acidic? Okay, our brother has mentioned diet.
Yiziphi ezinye izinto ezenza ukuthi kube nenkinga lapho kule ndawo leya umfethu sekabalile indlela yokudla.
What dietary factors make the blood acidic?
Ngabe yiziphi izinto ezenza indawo ezikhuluma ngozokudla ezithatha ingxaxheba kulo?
Incorrect posture can cause the cartilage.
Okay, that is where I wanted us to develop Sister Pia's point.
Umama uthi uma ngendlela engafanele nabo kuyenza ukuthi kumosheke le cartilage.
So we'll get back to that.
Leyo mpendulo soyihlanganisa nalena esinikeza u-system sokubuyela kiyo futhi.
What dietary transgressions make the blood acidic?
Ngaphe imiphi imithetho emele silandele mayelana nezokudla esikudlayo eyenza ukuthi kumosheke le ndawo?
Dairy products, okay?
Uma sidla lokhu kuhambelana namabisi.
Yes.
It's a lot of meat. Because
Yeah.
if you have a lot of undigested protein in the system, you need to use the calcium in your bones to remove it.
Yeah.
Uma udla inyama eningi and ikhona emzimbeni wakho ngokuba ke inyama inama-protein amaningi. Uma ngabe leyo protein leyo ekhona emzimbeni wakho ayikagayeki ngendlela efanele, kuzodingeka ukuba uthathe ucalcium okhona emzimbeni wakho ukuze ugayeke leyo protein.
So it's animal products, dairy and
Izinto ezihambelana nezilwane.
yes, Steve.
When you drink cold drinks.
Cold drinks.
Uma uphuza ke ama-cold drink,
What else?
ikuphi okunye?
Refined flour products.
Iflower ke lento esiyidlula esigabeni eziningana uma yenzwa.
We are just touching on these things. It requires a whole year to study these things. So we're just brushing past it.
Simane siyazithinta lezi zinto lezi ngoba kungathatha unyaka wonke ukuthi sizifunde.
It takes a good diet to maintain good bone and good cartilage all around the body.
Kudingeka ihlelo lokudla elihle ukuthi unakekele amathambo akho kanti futhi nale ndawo lesikhuluma ngayo cartilage.
But just because this bone is designed to slide over this bone over a cushion,
Ngenxa yokuthi le thambo lelingaphezulu lenza ukuthi lidlule kuleli linye kunomcamelo la lidlula khona.
and that's the function it's designed to serve.
yiwo umsebenzi enzela ukuthi wenze lo.
Doesn't mean we should abuse the system.
Akusho ukuthi kumele sihlukumeze ngohlelo.
So that's why our sister is talking about lifting. Yeah, lifting. Heavy stuff, yeah.
Ingakho udadewethu ekhuluma ngokuphakamisa izinto ezisindayo.
Okay, it's a work we are supposed to actually do, be able to lift stuff.
Umsebenzi kumele siwenze lokuthi sikhona ukuphakamisa izinto.
Lift, push, what else? Pull.
Ukuphakamisa, ukudonsa nokuphusha.
So that's required. We are built to do that.
Lokho kuyafuneka sakhela ubana sikhona ukwenza lokho.
But what is the point here is posture.
Kepha iphuzu lapha ilendlela okwenza ngakhona lokho okanye indlela oma ngakhona uma wenza lezi zinto lezo.
Your posture should be right.
Indlela oma ngayo uma wenza lezi zinto lezo kumele ifanele.
And lifting within your limits.
Bese uphakamise ngokusemandleni wakho.
So there is a way to lift stuff that will not cause damage to the spinal column.
Kunendlela yokuphakamisa izinto engeke ilethe inkinga kungemuva lakho.
Bending your knees.
Bending the knees. Yeah.
Ukuthi ugobe amadolo akho.
But we also consider posture in sitting.
Siphinde futhi sikhulume.
Everyone sits up. We know exactly what to do.
Siyazi because people ngokuhlala ke siyazi mele senze njani sabona ukuthi umuntu wasebatshintsha indlela yokuhlala.
Sitting posture is very critical.
Indlela yokuhlala ibaluleke kakhulu.
Because if you're slouching, your brain also begins to slouch. It copies the body's posture.
Uma ngabe uhlala ngendlela ngathi uyalala, ingqondo yakho nayo ngathi iyalala.
I see that I don't have to describe proper posture.
Ngiyabona ukuthi
problem is the chairs.
Ngicacise lokho.
Yeah, I know the chairs are a problem.
Ngiyazi ukuthi lezi zinto azibethinga.
But we need to be careful concerning sleeping, sitting, and standing postures.
Kepha kumele sibheke ukubaluleka kakhulu indlela esihlala ngayo, esima ngayo kanye futhi nendlela yokulala.
And the way you stand, it says a lot about your character.
Indlela oma ngayo isho okuningi ngesimilo sakho.
You know how Tsotsi stand on the street side?
Sazi ukuthi isigebengu sima kanjani estradeni.
You know that is different.
Ngiyazi ukuthi ihlukile.
Yeah. We are built for movement
Sakhela ukuthi ubana sikhone ukwenza uhambo oluthile
and work.
kanti futhi sisebenze.
And one of the things that builds up bones is work.
Enye into eyakha amathambo umsebenzi.
If you think you have a bone problem, a joint problem, or a back problem, or any skeletal system problem,
Uma ngabe nje ucabanga ukuthi noma ngabe yiphi inkinga emayelana namathambo,
the natural instinct is to think, oh no, I shouldn't do anything.
umqabango ovelayo nje wemvelo ojwayelekile ukuthi ayi njengoba nginenkinga kumele ngenze lutho.
I have a painful knee, I shouldn't go and do hard work.
Inyawo lami libuhlungu kusho ukuthi kumele ngingahambi ngenze umsebenzi nje onzima.
It will deteriorate.
Uma wenza kuzoba nenkinga elehlisayo.
It's built for motion.
Lakhela ubala ukuthi likhona ukunyakaza.
And motion, I believe, Brother JJ, is that correct? That exercise and work actually is medicine.
It is.
Ngiyakholwa ukuthi
It's the
uma
best form
uzivocavoca
of
kanti
medicine.
futhi uhamba lokho ngokwako kuwumuthi.
Best form of medicine.
Indlela enhle kakhulu yomuthi.
So, God made the skeletal system.
uNkulunkulu wenzile ke lo hlelo lamathambo.
Now, all he has is a well-shaped structure.
Manje anabo isimiso nje esihlelekile ngendlela enhle.
It's still lying there and not able to move.
Asikwazi ukuthi inyakaze.
So you have a bone here and a bone here.
Unethambo ngapha nethambo ngale.
How can we make this system move?
Singenza kanjani lo hlelo lokuthi linyakaze?
By exercise.
Yes.
Sizivocavoce.
Okay. Yes, Brother Jonah.
You connect it.
Connect it. You need to connect these two pieces together.
Kumele uxhumanise namathambo amabili
Yeah.
ndawonye.
Then we can pull on this and we'll have movement.
Bese kwasesidonsa lo kwaxhumanisile kuzoba nokunyakaza.
Can you see that?
Ngabe sekubona lokho.
So what in the body has God used to connect bone to bone so that we now have muscles.
Lokhu uNkulunkulu akusebenzisile emathambeni ukuthi ahlanganise ithambo leli naleli lokho sikubiza ngemsipha.
So what's happening when there is movement is that you have a muscle connecting one bone to the next, and when the muscle contracts, it pulls the other part in whatever direction it goes. So like this famous biceps muscle over here. We've got a bone in here called the humerus. Then we've got another bone here. And so this biceps connects the humerus to the ulna or the radius. And then when the muscle contracts, when the biceps contracts, when it pulls, it pulls on this part, the distal part, the lower part. That's how movements happen. So muscles help us to move from place to place. To hold objects, pick up stuff. And to maintain balance. Whenever you have a muscle going one way, you actually should have a muscle going the other way, that pulls the other way. For example, the biceps. It helps me to pull the forearm upward. But I don't want to walk around with my arm in this position all day long. So I have a triceps at the back that will pull it back. The biceps and the triceps work in harmony. They help each other so that the body can move. Okay, fine. So we have a structure and we have a pulley system that's going to allow the bones to move relative to each other. But how are we going to fire this system? Because you've got your bone structure, you've got your muscle, now what? What's next?
You need your nervous system.
The
Nervous system.
nervous system. This is the one that's going to fire the muscle to do its job. So now we're talking about the nervous system. Sister White describes it as the electric system of the body. Telegraphic wires that come from the brain to come to the muscle to give it instructions. The whole body is connected by billions of nerve cells called neurons. Let's read from Education, page 209, paragraph. How much time, JJ?
You've got about 25 minutes left.
Okay.
Make it an hour.
It's exhausting.
Sorry, 15 minutes. Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry.
That sounds better. Education, page 209, paragraph 2. The second sentence. The brain nerves that connect with the whole system are the medium through which heaven communicates with man and affects the inmost life.
lapho khona izulu likhuluma nomuntu khona and lokho kuletha umthelelo omkhulu kulempilo engaphakathi.
Whatever hinders the circulation of the electric currents in the nervous system, thus weakening the vital powers and lessening mental susceptibility, makes it more difficult to arouse the moral nature.
Noma ngabe yini okuvimba lokuhlelo lonkulumo olwenzakayo lokho kwenza ukuthi kwehliswe amandla kulamandla akhona enzele ukuthi engqondo yakhe isebenze ngendlela efanele kanti futhi lokho kwenza ukuthi kube nzima ukuthi uvuse kwezokuphila ngendlela efanele kwemvelo.
Did we follow that?
Ngabe sikulandelile lokho?
I don't know if we followed it.
Angazi noma ngabe sikulandelile.
So this is the brain.
Ingqondo ke lena.
All commands going to the body come from the brain.
Konke ke imiyalezo ifika la engqondweni.
So we have a neuron.
Kunalezi lesibizwa ngama-neuron.
It's going to come from the brain to this muscle.
Izosuka le neuron engqondweni iye lapha kulehlelo lemthambo.
So we are told the brain nerves connect with the whole systems.
Siyatshela ukuthi ama-nerve engqondo ahlangana nayo yonke le nhlelo.
Think about this like a telephone wire.
Cabanga lokhu njengentambo yefoni.
Because she uses the term telegraphic.
Ngoba usebenzisa legama elibizwa nge-telegraphic.
What happens when they steal the copper lines in jogging?
Kwenzakalani ke eGoli uma bentshontsha lamalayini lawa ahlahlukumanisayo?
No power, no communication.
Akubi nenkulumo eyenzakalayo.
She used the word electric as well.
Usebenzisa legama elithi gesi.
So the body is full of electricity.
Umzimba ugcwele igesi.
And she says if anything interrupts the flow of that current,
Uthi mangabe kukhona into ephazamisa ukuhamba kwaloyo gesi,
then the information will not come from here to there.
ngakho ke la umyalezo awukwazi ukuthi usuke engqondweni ufike ngale kule mthambo.
What happens when someone suffers a stroke
Kwenzakalani mangabe umuntu elinyazwa i-stroke?
is this communication has been cut off.
Ukuthi lokhu lehlelo lokukhuluma lolu luhlukanisiwe.
Let's say, you know, a person suffers a bad accident, they suffer an injury on the wrist or anywhere on the arm.
Mhlawumbe singathi umuntu uba nengozi enkulu ngenxa yengozi leyo bathi bazomkhipha isandla sakhe.
Because there are some nerves that travel quite superficially, easy to cut them.
Ngoba kukhona eminye imithambo nje ehambayo lapha kanti futhi kulula ukuthi bakhona ukuyinquma.
When a nerve is injured and cut,
Uma ngabe umthambo ulimele kanti futhi uvulekile
or damaged.
Ulimazekile kakhulu.
For example,
Umzekelo,
have you ever leaned on a hard object for a long time?
uke uhamba entweni eqinile isikhathi eside.
What happens to the fingers?
Kwenzakalani ekukule ezandla?
And then you feel a numbness, isn't it? That goes to these fingers and they feel dead.
Uma endaweni ethile ngesandla sakhe eqinile isikhathi eside uzozwa imilo yakho ngathi ayisasebenzi.
Okay, we are familiar with that feeling.
Ngiyazi ukuthi sijwayele lelo lemizwa.
Yeah, it's because that nerve, the ulnar nerve, passes right here at the elbow where you're leaning.
Ukuthi lo mthambo lona odlula lana kule ngozi yakho, elbow yakho.
And that pressure can actually cut off the electric current that is going to take messages to these two fingers.
Lamandla aqindezelile uma inkathi usimamile lapho enza ukuthi kunqumeke uhambo oluzoyenzeka kulo mthambo.
So in the extreme case, you are talking about a stroke.
Esimeni nje esinzima kakhulu sikhuluma lapho khona umuntu ehlaselwa i-stroke.
Where there might be interruption in the flow of blood to a part of the brain and that nerve becomes dead.
Lapho khona kuba nokuphazamiseka ekuhambeni kwegazi kusukela engqondweni lize lifike emthambeni.
So we are told that anything that cuts off that current is a problem.
Siyacela ukuthi noma ngabe yini eyenza ukuthi lo hambo logesi luphazamiseke luyinkinga.
And there are many causes we can think about, many instances when this current is cut off.
Ziningi izimo kanye nezinto esingaqabanga ngazo ezenza ukuthi kube nenkinga leyo.
Also, I want to emphasize that in the brain you've got billions of neurons.
Ngifuna futhi ukugcizelela ukuthi engqondweni unama-neuroni amaningi kakhulu
communicating with each other.
akhulumisanayo.
So let me read the next paragraph.
Ngizofunda esiqaphweni esilandelayo.
She's going to make a comment about whatever these things are that hinder the circulation of the electric current.
Uzokhuluma ngalezi zinto lezi ezivimba lokuthi logesi uhambe.
Again, excessive study by increasing the flow of blood to the brain creates morbid excitability that tends to lessen the powers of self-control and to often give sway to impulse and caprice.
Futhi ukufunda okunzima kwenza ukukhuphula igazi ukuthi lihambe lingene engqondweni, kanti futhi lokho kwenza ukuthi kwehlise amandla wokuthi umuntu akhona ukuzithiba, kanti futhi esikhathini esiningi kwenza ukuthi umuntu asebenzise imizwa kakhulu.
Did you catch that? Too much study is not good.
Ukufunda kakhulu akusikuhle.
It can cause these wires to misfire.
Kungenza ukuthi lentambo lezi zibe nokuphazamiseka.
Yeah, and send false messages around in the brain,
Bese kuthumele umyalezo ongesiyona oqiniso engqondweni.
causing confusion,
Kulethe ukuqakeka,
unnatural emotions and feelings,
imizwa engajwayelekile.
and we may actually make wrong decisions.
Singagcina futhi senze nezinqumo ezingafanele.
So Sister White says anything that hinders the circulation of the electric currents, we need to consider it.
Udade wayithi uthi noma ngabe yini evimba lokuhamba kwegesi kumele siqaphele sise kahle.
What are some of these things? So I've mentioned the stroke. What else can you think about?
Ikuphi okunye singaqabanga ngako? Sesikhulumile nge-stroke.
Injuries, I've mentioned injuries.
Ukulimala sesikhulumile ngako.
Yes? Arthritis, okay. Where
Ukugula kwamathambo.
it's a good guess.
Ukuqagela okuhle lokho.
Where would arthritis be a problem for nerves?
Ikuphi lapho khona isifo samathambo
Yes.
singaba inkinga ngalohlelo leli?
Radiation.
Sorry?
Radiation, which also disturb the
Radiation. Which radiation? From the sun?
sun and from the gadgets.
From the gadgets? Okay, okay.
Lokhu okuvela ukukhanya okuvela kwilanga kanye futhi nalezi zinto zogesi ezivelayo kulamafoni emathathu.
Speak up.
Okay. Arthritis in the spine.
Yes.
Because it's
Arthritis.
going to press against your nerve.
Yes. Okay. So we have the cervical spine here that is in the neck.
Sinalebizwa nge-cervical spine etholakala lana entameni.
So we've got our blocks there. The soft tissue.
Sinalezigaba zethu bese kuba nalomqamelo.
If a person develops arthritis in the cervical spine, in the neck spine,
Uma ngabe umuntu uba nenkinga yamathambo lapha kule-cervical spine.
when the disc degenerates,
Uma ngabe le disc liqala ukwehla,
the body tries to heal it.
umzimba uzama ukuphilisa le disc.
And it may end up forming bumps
Bese izogcina nje yenze mhlawumbe esifana njengamabhamuzi.
around the edges of the bone itself.
Duze nasekugcineni kwanethambo.
And we all know about the spinal cord that you wanted to talk about.
Bese siyazi-ke ngale-spinal cord lonke benifuna ukukhuluma ngaso.
The spinal cord is a continuation of the brain.
I-spinal cord ukuqhubeka kwengqondo.
Just consider the brain a bunch of nerves.
Thatha ingqondo njengama-nerve nje amaningi abuthene ndawonye.
Like when you have a bunch of balloons all blown up,
Njengokuthi uma unamabhamuza nje amaningi nje agcwele indawo.
and you have a string on each balloon,
Bese kunentambo kwibhamuza ngenye.
and then you want to hold all these balloons together.
Bese ufuna ukwabamba ndawonye wahlanganisa.
All you have to do is to hold the strings together.
Ekumele ukwenze ukuthi nje ubambe le ntambo zonke uhlanganise.
And you can join these strings as one cord. Yeah? That is the spinal cord.
Bese uhlanganisa le ntambo zenze intambo eyodwa, i-spinal cord sinjalo na.
It's nerves going down right from the base of the skull to the bottom, around close to the bottom of the spine.
Ama-nerves-ke asuka lana ngaphansi kwenhloko afika nje le ezansi laphela khona inhloko.
And they come out at different points, right from the base of the skull. They come out at different points to go to all the various parts of the body.
Ziphuma endaweni ezihlukile ukuze zikhona ukuthi zigqwale umzimba wonke.
And they do that along the spinal column.
Zenza lokho zisebenzisa lehlelo okanye lethambo leli le-spinal.
So somewhere along on the lateral side, on the side of the vertebral column, you will see that there is holes where a nerve comes out.
Emaqeleni wale thambo leli uzobona ukuthi kunemigodi lapho khona lama-nerves aphuma khona.
Maybe the other nerve coming to my arm is going to come out from around there.
Mhlambe le nerve lena ezoza lana esandleni izobe iphuma mhlambe lana.
And if one of these bumps touches on that nerve and presses it down,
Uma ngabe enye yamabhamuza ithinta le nerve bese iqindezela.
the electric current will be interrupted.
Ukuhamba kwalogesi kuzophazamiseka.
So that's how it happens. It's rare, but it happens.
Kwenzeka ngale ndlela leyo kujwayelekile kepha kwenzeka ngale ndlela leyo.
Any other example?
Eminye imizekelo.
Yes.
Let me just give one example of the brain and the brain fluid actually going down your spine.
Ngicela ukunikeza nje umzekelo owodwa mayelana nengqondo kanye nalokho kuphumayo kanye namanzi aphumayo engqondweni aya emzimbeni wonke.
If the spine is out of alignment,
Uma ngabe le spine siphumile endleleni
it might cause severe headaches.
kwenza ukuthi ube nekhanda elibuhlungu.
That's how sensitive it is.
Libaluleke kakhulu kanti futhi libucayi ngale ndlela leyo.
That's true. Anything we know that interrupts the flow of current,
Noma ngabe yini esikwaziyo ukuphazamisa ukuhamba kwalogesi.
but because not only will it affect motion, but even our higher functions.
Akuphazamisi nje indlela yokunyakaza yethu kepha iphinde futhi iphazamise indlela amandla wethu angaphezulu.
The principles are the same, yes?
Imigomo iyafana.
Poor blood circulation.
Poor blood circulation.
Uhlelo olubi lokuhamba kwegazi.
So what could cut down circulation?
Ikuphi okunganquma ukuhamba kwegazi?
Yes?
Belt.
A belt?
Ukufasa ibhande.
Yes? Tight clothes, anything that constricts bands and all kinds of
Izimpahla ezibambayo.
especially for ladies.
Kakhulukazi kwabesifazane.
Wearing tight bands around the waist causes damage to the pelvic organ.
Ukugqoka nje ibhande nje elibambayo lana ngasefigeni kwenza ukuthi ube nenkinga
It may cause period pains, for example.
lingenza ukuthi kube nalezi nkinga sezibaliwe.
Sorry?
As well as idleness.
Idleness, yes.
Ukuhlala ungenzi lutho.
Yes, that's a very good example because when you're not, the body is built for motion.
Umzekelo omuhle kakhulu loyo ngokuba umzimba wenzela ukuthi usebenze okanye unyakaze.
So while from the moment we're awake to when we sleep, we should be active. It promotes good circulation.
Ngenkathi sesilele kumele kube senze ukuthile ukuze igazi likhona ukuhamba.
Blockages in arteries can cause problems. What causes blockages in the arteries?
Yini okwenza ukuthi kube nokuvimbeka kuma arteries?
Clots, fats, okay, cholesterol.
Amafutha.
Though cholesterol itself is not really a bad thing. You know what could be the problem more than just cholesterol?
Uyazi ukuthi ngabe yini inkinga ukudlula icholesterol?
Cholesterol is there because it's trying to heal the problem.
Icholesterol iba khona ngoba yona izama ukuphilisa ukulungisa le nkinga.
But we spoke about acidity.
Kepha sikhuluma acid.
Acidity is one of the top causes of erosion. It just erodes bones, it erodes blood vessels, and causes wounds, and cholesterol comes to try and heal that section.
Acid eningi emzimbeni yiyo le eyenza inkinga ebolisa amathambo emotion nje konke izitho zikhona emzimbeni. Bese icholesterol yiyo efikayo izama ukulungisa le nkinga leyo.
And the other thing is salt.
Enye inkinga ke usawona.
Anything else?
Ngabe khona okunye?
Too much salt. Cold, yes.
Ukubanda.
So what do we say about cold?
Ngabe sithi
Especially the cold peripheries.
izinyawo uma zigodola kakhulu okanye zibanda.
Did I see a hand somewhere?
Here,
Yes?
this, you know, women on high heels all the time.
Yes. That,
Abesifazane ke uma begqoke icathulo lezi ezinkulu kakhulu eziphakeme ama Crocs.
actually, we should have mentioned that under skeletal system because it changes the alignment of the spine.
Bekumele lokho sikubale uma sikhuluma ngohlelo lwamathambo ngokuba lenza ukuthi lishintshe manje lishiya.
And changes the shape of the foot.
Bese lishintsha ukuma kwenyawo lakho.
I was quite, I made an observation the other day when we were walking at the river with Zikle and
Ngenkathi sihamba nomuntu amba losesihle ngolunye lapha ngasemfuleni.
we found a herd of cattle at the river.
Sithole izinkomo.
And Amo was a little bit worried that the cows were going to chase us. But actually these cows, when it's night time and their owners have not taken them home, they come around the compound where we stay and sleep there.
Kahle kahle uma ngabe sekusebusuku sekuhlwile abanikazi belezinkomo bengazisathanga ziyeza lezinkomo la sihlala khona nje.
They gravitate towards humans, naturally.
Ngokwemvelo nje bayazwana nomuntu.
But I observed for the first time that cows wear high heels.
Ngibonile kokuqala ukuthi izinkomo zigqoka ama-Crocs.
They walk like that.
Zihamba nje ngathi siphakeme.
Yeah, on high heels.
Zihamba ngama-Crocs.
The difference though, if you observe their foot,
Umehluko ke uma ngabe ubheka inyawo zazo.
it's quite thin and they have a big hoof.
Zicijile nje kakhulu kepha inyawo lakhona ngathi liba lukhudlanyana.
So the hoof is quite hard.
Liqinile ke lapho liqinile.
So when a human has to stand on soft toes, on high heels,
Uma ngabe ke umuntu kumele ame kugqozi ngabobhonzi abathambile.
it changes the shape of the toes.
Kushintsha ukuma kwalabo bhonzi.
The foot is not naturally designed to be in that position.
Inyawo lakho alenzelwanga ubana ukuthi lime ngale ndlela leyo.
And so I thought, why do these women want to look like cows?
Sifazane befuna ukuluka njengeenkomo.
It just struck me for the first time.
Ingithintile nje okokuqala.
But we have to end here, our time is up.
Kepha kumele sigcine lapho ngoba isikhathi sethu sesiphelile.
Tomorrow we've already covered much of the circulatory system. We'll continue with that.
Sesikhulumile kakhulu mayelana nokuhamba kulehlelo elihambisayo.
Because now God has a structure,
Ngokuba uNkulunkulu unesimiso esithile.
He has a means of motion,
Unohlelo lokuthi kube nokunyakaza.
He has a powering system.
Unalokuletha amandla.
And I think so far everything is in place. All that is left is maintenance systems,
Ngicabanga ukuthi konke nje sekusendaweni yabo okusele nje ukuthi kugcineke kusendaweni yabo.
which is what we'll touch on tomorrow.
Ukuthi sokhuluma ngabo kusasa.
Shall we pray?
Singakhulela.
Thank you, Lord, for creating us fearfully and wonderfully. And thank you for raising our awareness concerning the body structure. Give us understanding, Lord, because if we know how it works and how it was put together, we will be better able to take care of it. So that, Lord, we may glorify you, because you've created us to reflect your glory and to represent you. Thank you, Lord, for the strength that you've given us to carry us through the day. And as we are retiring to rest now, may you refresh us and give us a good night's rest. In Christ's name we pray.